Well, this is a bit unconventional, but considering, well, I really think it's best I do this, considering I was excited when I first heard this, and I really wanted to discuss what I think could appear, basically. So, Kingdom Hearts 4 finally announced. Well, okay, honestly, I was a little surprised we're going to get it got announced when it did. I mean, it was going to get announced eventually, but and yeah, there was also that mobile game as well they got announced. But I'm here to talk about the big one, KH4. I'm sure, as many of you know, I am a big fan of the Kingdom Hearts series. In terms of physical copies of games, I currently have 5 of them. Of course, which are 1, 2, 3D Dream Drop Distance, yeah, the 3DS version, 3, and Melody of Memory for the Switch. I do, and I have also played Recoded as well for the DS, but I don't own a copy of that anymore. And I also, well, I haven't played Chain of Memories either version. I haven't played 358 Days, and I haven't played Birth by Sleep. Oh, and Fragmentary Passage as well. Oh, and I have also played the mobile game Union Cross as well. So yeah, it's been a while since I've played that though. But anyway, so from what I saw at the moment, it looks like they are continuing on from the gameplay from Kingdom Hearts 3, which I'm not going to go too in depth with. I will post my review in the cards up there. And you know, it's going to continue on from where Melody of Memory left off, where Riku is going off to find Sora in this new world called Quadratum. Mickey, Donald, and Goofy are rallying the other Keyblade wielders, while Kairi goes to train with Aqua. Now, with that, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this. Now, obviously, as we know, the first world will be Quadratum. We're going to see how Sora ended up in this world, what's with his new realistic look, the connection with Yozora, which we'll get to that later, and you know, whether this world is basically a riff on The World Ends With You. Now, as you know, in Dream Drop Distance, characters from The World Ends With You appeared in it, and so far, other than an optional gummy ship boss that was representative of a 3D space shooter game Square released for the PlayStation, that's the only other franchise that's been represented in Kingdom Hearts outside of Final Fantasy in terms of Square Enix. So I'm not sure whether that will connect. I mean, whether we will see Neku and Joshua and all those other characters. And you know, other than that, so I'm not going to go full on in depth with who I expect to see. In terms of the Final Fantasy characters, well, I think considering the backlash Square Enix got for not having any of the characters, any of the Final Fantasy characters outside the Moogles until the Rewind DLC, you know, in the base game at the moment, and Kingdom Hearts 3, they will appear quite little. I mean, I expect Squall, aka Leon, Aerith, Yuffie, and Sid to return. Obviously, Moogle's staple. Cloud and Sephiroth, I think, is a definite possibility they should show up here, especially since Sora's been in Smash. So they might maybe make a few references, you know, maybe say Sora's encountered Cloud and Sephiroth before he ended up in Quadratum. I don't know, it's a stretch. And, you know, other Disney characters like the Fairy Godmother and Merlin will appear too, in some capacity. In taking that out of the equation, and of course we will get to get into the next phase of the Kingdom Hearts, which is the Master of Masters arc, pretty much is what I think it's going to be called. The whole deal with Xigbar being, aka Luxu, and the Foretellers, you know, and how potentially, and the whole Maleficent Pete black box potential theft, how Axel and Syax know one of the Foretellers, which I guess is the storyline. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And then you got to throw in the whole Luke. You got to throw in the whole Yazora thing, who apparently knows the actual version of Luke's sword. So yeah, I should mention, in terms of the Read My DLC, I have beat the whole Sora time traveling thing, but I've never beat the Super Boss Organization 13 battles and the Yazora thing. Out my limit. But I do know how it goes. So, but my main thing to talk about here are the worlds we should expect. And in terms of predictions, I'm going to make a few early on. Judging by the whole Yazora thing, I think Toy Box is going to be a major return, and I don't see any reason why I loved Toy Box. I mean, it was great to get a Toy Story world finally, and I would love to explore it again with Woody and Buzz. Maybe throw Jessie in as another possibility, because we don't know where the story. What was the good thing about Toy Story and Kingdom Hearts 3 is they created their own original story set within the continuity, so they can do it again with again many times they want. So I would really like that. Though I would hope that I could face Lotso. you can hope. Other returning worlds, I know people are saying it's a good chance we might get Agrabah back, but honestly I'd like to see Pride Lands return. I think in terms of, I just would really want to explore Pride Lands again now it's lush, and whether they do again they could, I mean it's probably going to follow Lion King 2, but if they did their own original thing they could also reference the TV series Lion Guard, which I would really enjoy exploring. I mean, Simba being the party member, I could see that happening of course still, and maybe for Kion and Kiara, that would be cool. Whole family of lions, Nala including as well. Whether they include Zazu in it this time, I would hope, but I pretty much don't think Rowan Atkinson would return. Don't even think it's even been a video game other than maybe one of the Mr. Bean DS games. Yeah, never mind. I do see also Winnie the Pooh returning as well. I mean, that just makes sense. Other than that, I see, in terms of other worlds introduced in Kingdom Hearts 3, I think Frozen or Big Hero 6 will probably return, but you never know. And the only other world I would personally want to see be brought back at this stage, Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, that's the one I want to see. That's a good. I just want to finally explore a full Lilo and Stitch world that isn't just taking place in space, because that's what Birth by Sleep only did. It only focused on the opening 5 minutes of the movie. Now let's move on to new worlds. Wreck-It Ralph. That is a full-fledged world in Union Cross, and Ralph appears as a summon in KH3. I hope we get a full-on 3D, full-on Wreck-It Ralph world now. I just really want that. Whether it be mini-game based, I don't know, but I just want it. Give me a Wreck-It Ralph world. So onto new worlds. In terms of Princesses of Heart, and I mean in terms of the new 7 Hearts, Kairi's still a princess, but we also have Anna, Elsa from Frozen, and Rapunzel from Tangled. So I think if we're going to get others, I think Vanellope for Wreck-It Ralph could be a case. Not sure. Moana is another one I think could happen, and Tiana from The Princess and the Frog. I think those are the ones that seem the most likely to be the next 7 Princesses of Heart. And with that said, Moana and Princess and the Frog are some of the worlds I would really love to explore. I love both of those movies. I think they're great to go around, and they'll be fun to have. Zootopia as well, though it's debatable at this stage whether they'll go that route. Raya and the Last Dragon, that would be a great one to explore. I loved Raya. It was a great film. I haven't seen Encanto yet, but down the track. I think, but of the recent Disney films, I think the ones I want are Princess and the Frog, and I would say Moana. Those are the two I want in terms of the recent animated movies, with maybe Raya as a close third. In terms of other previous old films, now, at this stage, I mean, I don't think they would include The Rescuers in terms of a world for that. I mean, I don't think they would. Pocahontas, I don't think that's ever going to happen now. Like, yes, that's the last technically big movie of the Disney Renaissance, but I don't see that now happening. In terms of other films, I mean, I would love to see Meet the Robinsons. I've been watching that recently a few times, and well, it would be cool. I don't see that happening at this stage. If they're going to do a side game, I think that's where Meet the Robinsons could probably enter in the fray. So yeah. In terms of, I should mention I don't see Chicken Little appearing in as a full-fledged world. He's a summon in cage, but that was for marketing purposes, and the movie isn't that good, so I don't see that. Bolt I probably would picture would be more of a summon, actually. But in terms of those mid-2000s films, if you're going to do a world, Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, and Treasure Planet are the ones I would see definitely happening. Treasure Planet is probably the one that seems most likely, considering Roy Conley, who was a producer of the film, but also produced Tangled the Big Hero 6, was actively involved in Kingdom Hearts 3's development as a Disney representative, so I would probably think that could end up happening. Atlantis would be my personal one I would want. I love Atlantis. It's one of my favorite Disney films, despite being underrated. I just love it. Emperor, and it'll be cool to explore all this architecture and all that, and being technically underneath the world, you know, underneath Earth. Emperor's New Groove, that would be a unique one to explore, and you know, I would have a fun time. Other than that, don't do Home on the Range. That is just embarrassing. Brother Bear would be cool, but I'm not sure. And Dinosaur, no. I should mention Symphony of Sorcery, which is the Fantasia world from Dream Dark Distance. I see that being a chance as well, doing Fantasia 2000 this time. Would be cool. Really would like that. Symphony of Sorcery was a great world to explore. In terms of the older films, like say before the Renaissance, out of all of them at the moment, I'd say the one most likely to get a world, Jungle Book. It's going to happen. At some point, you've got to include the Jungle Book. They've tried many times and it's failed. Try now. People want the Jungle Book. They want it. And it'll be nice to get another Disney world based on their 2D anime movies. And Jungle Book seems like the one I feel like would be the most obvious one to include. Whether we will explore Disney Castle again, or Disney Town, I would want that, but I'll be unsure. Now, Pixar. We'll move on to Pixar next. The other Disney films, I'm not going to go into them completely. I mean, I don't see at this stage 101 Dalmatians, Sword in the Stone, Aristocats, you know, Robin Hood, Great Mouse Detective, Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron, Oliver and Company, Rescuers, as I said. The Dumbo and Bambi, I would personally wouldn't mind seeing. I mean, Bambi in particular, but I doubt it. And the package films, Fluidos Amigos, Free Caballeros, Make My Music, Millie Time, Fun and Fancy Free, and Ichabod and Nicholas Toad, I don't see that happening. But I would like the giant film Fun and Fancy Free to be an optional super boss. That would be cool. Now, Pixar films. As I said, I think Toy Story has a good chance of returning. I'm not sure Monsters Inc. at this stage. You never know. But in terms of the other ones, Bugs Life, I don't see that happening, honestly. It's more of a chance of that being a summon, potentially. I don't know. Though, there's no real films where you're completely shrunk down. So, you never know. Incredibles, that's a world you've got to include. That's one of the A grade plus levels you have to include, and I'm not sure who they will pick as party members though. If anything, I think maybe Dash and Violet will be a better choice compared to Mr. Incredible and Mrs. Incredible. Jack would be a good summon, and Frozone's a good choice too. as a party member, but I think Violet and Dash are probably the more likely ones. Finding Nemo, again, Southern Territory, and Cars, same thing. I don't see that happening. I don't think we're going to get a Ratatouille world. I think integrating Remy as a mini-game is a good idea with that, compared to making a full-on world for Ratatouille. Sorry. Wall-E and Up, it's hard to say really. I don't know if that can work, both of them. In fact, I don't even... Wall-E would be more of an NPC character, I would say. Eve could work as a summon. And Up, again, I see them more as NPCs, or minigame related. Brave. Merida... Exploring Brave with Merida is unique, but Brave isn't really a particularly fun movie for a lot of people. I just don't know if it can work. Inside Out. Want to explore that. I love it. It's a great film. Go around, explore the subconscious with joy and anger is a great idea. I think they're the two party members that would work the best. Want that, definitely. Good Dinosaur. I don't think that would be a good one to pick. Again, it just doesn't work. Coco, though. That would be a cool world to explore. A Day of the Dead world is just something that appeals to me, and I think it'll be great to explore with Miguel and Hector. That'd be great. I would love that. The other Disney Pixar films, Onward would be a good one to explore. I would really like that. I'm not sure about Soul though. That may not actually work, especially when it'll be similar to Inside Out in my opinion of a world concept. And Luca could work, though I haven't seen it. And I don't think at this stage they would consider anything past 2021 at this stage in terms of movies. So I doubt we would get anything in terms of what's coming out in the future. So I don't think Turning Red will be a world, and I don't think Lightyear would. Well, yeah, never mind. So yeah, I would say at the very least in terms of timestamps, anything before past 2021, I don't think will be a world. Marvel and Star Wars. Let's start Marvel. Marvel Cinematic Universe. I would like to see, I really would. But in terms of picking a world for them to start off with, it's going to be tough. But I think if I'm going to pick one place I think could start off well as a world for Kingdom Hearts, I would have to say start off with 4 World. I think that would be a good choice to start off by bringing the Marvel Cinematic Universe into Kingdom Hearts. I mean, 4 would be a great party member. You can explore Asgard, go against Loki. That's a perfect way to start off with. If you want to go big with Marvel, maybe Spider-Man, but it's hard to say. And Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy would be a good choice. Well, you can What If? That would be a unique idea in terms of Marvel world, and having to watch that'd be cool. And I guess also Doctor Strange would be a good choice too in terms of party member or exploring. Star Wars, Indiana Jones. Star Wars would be cool, though it's going to be interesting whether EA would allow Square Enix to use the license, but you never can know. Of course, a lightsaber keyblade would be amazing. It would be great to explore the galaxy. Who do they pick as a party member? And where in the Star Wars mythos we would begin? That's the question. Obviously, people would say Luke Skywalker, and it'd be easy to get Mark Hamill to return. But, it's tough to say. It'll be interesting to see if, in my view, I would love to explore the galaxy with Yoda. That would be a cool choice. And, seeing maybe starting the Star Wars mythos when Yoda was, beginning off, as a Jedi. That would be cool. I would love to do that. And Indiana Jones, I would love, but I don't know if it would work at this stage. In terms of the live action movies, Pirates of the Caribbean could return again. I wouldn't be surprised. Whether they do an original story this time would be cool. I don't know. Tron, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But in terms of other live action movies, Jungle Cruise has really grown as a good film to choose. And you know what? I wouldn't be too surprised if that gets the nod as the new live-action based Disney world that isn't Marvel Cinematic Universe or Lucasfilm. Now, 20th Century Fox. I don't know if it would happen at this stage. I can't see a 20th Century Fox world at this stage happening. I mean, so I don't expect Ice Age or Ice Age or Simpsons or Titanic or Anastasia, anything like, or Aliens or Alien. I don't see that happening at this stage. So, but if I'm going to pick my worlds, I want to see for Kingdom Hearts 4. And counting it, and also choosing past original worlds. At this stage, my list would be for returning worlds. I would say Toy Box, Pride Lands. Well, actually, I'll go run for the films to be represented. In terms of representation for Kingdom Hearts 4, I would want to see Lion King, Toy Story, Big Hero 6, and I would say maybe Symphony Fantasia as the returning worlds. In terms of new worlds, I would say my picks would be Princess and the Frog, Jungle Cruise, there would be Raya and the Last Dragon, Wreck-It Ralph. Okay, Wreck-It Ralph kind of counts as a new world, as a previous world, so yeah. Star Wars, Marvel Cinematic Universe, but set in Asgard, so 4. And the last one would be actually, yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, oh yeah, Coco. Coco's the other one. Coco and the Incredibles. They're the ones I would want to see the most in Kingdom Hearts 4. And in terms of old worlds to return, I would say I would want to see explore Radiant Garden again and Destiny Islands. So there you go. So that's my thoughts and early predictions for Kingdom Hearts 4. I will be back for regular reviews next time. In the meantime, this is Haz from Haz Reviews out, and I'll see you for my next video. Ciao.